Now in this section, we look at the transform options. Now you can see that under transform, there are so many different options, and these have been categorized into groups like table, any column, text column, number column, date and time column, etc. Now what it means is, suppose I want to make changes to a column that contains text, then I should select the text column option. Now suppose if I want to make changes to a column which contains numbers, then I should use the number column option. Next to the transform option, you can see add column. It consists of general, from text, from number and from date and time. Now one thing to notice here is that the number and the text options also appear under this transform. Now let's understand why Microsoft has provided the same options under both transform and add column tabs. Let's look at it with the help of a query. So as you can see in this table, this is the first name, this is the last name, and this is the title. Now as you can see here, the names are in uppercase, but I want to convert this into sentence case. That is, the first letter should be in uppercase and the rest in lowercase. Now how would you resolve this problem in Excel? You will make use of the formula proper. But with PowerQuery, you can easily fix this without having to use any formula. Let me show you how you can do it in PowerQuery. So select the column, go to Add Column and go to Format. So when you click there, you can see different options, lowercase, uppercase, capitalize each word and all. So select capitalize each word. This will convert your first letter into uppercase and rest to lowercase. Now you can see that a new column has been added and the cases have been fixed as per my requirement. You can also see a new step added under the applied steps. But the thing is, now we have two separate columns. One with the original text and the second one with the formatted text. But that is not how we want it. So what I'll do is, I'll remove that step from here. So as you just saw, whenever you use any option from add column, it means that changes will be applied, but it will not be applied into the same column. It will create a new one. But if you want to make changes to your existing column, that is when you make use of the options under the transform tab. So select your column and go to the transform tab. Transform applies the changes to the existing column. So go to transform, click on format and select capitalize each word. Look at that. You have your data transformed in the same existing column. Let's do the same with the last name. So select the column, format, capitalize each word. And the changes are done. And similarly with the title. Now instead of doing individually, I want to make these changes to these three columns, that is prefix, first name and last name, in a single shot. For that, let me just revert the changes by cancelling these steps. Now to apply those changes in a single step to these three columns, let me first select the columns. So what I'll do is, I'll first select the first column and then press down on the shift key and click on the last column. So we have selected all the three columns. Now as we did earlier, click on transform, then go to format and select the option capitalize each word. Just look at that. We have done it in a single shot. So let's go to the format once again and look at the options. So lowercase, as you all must know, converts all the alphabets in our text into lowercase. Uppercase will convert all the letters in our text into uppercase, and capitalize each word we just saw does the sentence case conversion. Now suppose your data has a lot of unwanted space there. So to remove those unwanted spaces from your data, select your data, and select the option Trim. Now with the help of Clean, you can clear all the formatting that has been applied to your selection. So select your data and click on Clean to remove all the formatting. Now the last two options are Add Prefix and Add Suffix. Let me show you what it is. Look at the customer key over here. It contains only number. Now as per my company's naming convention, the customer key starts with the company's name. So can I add my company name before the customer key? Yes, you can do that. So in front of each and every customer key, I would want to add my company's name. To do that, select the column, click on Format and select Add Prefix. Here, enter the value that you want to be added as the prefix, that is the text in front of each value in the column. So I'll add IJST hyphen and OK. So you can see that the text value that we mentioned has been added as a prefix over here. So that was just a demo. I actually do not want to make that change. So I'll remove that step from here. And then the suffix option also works in a similar fashion. The only difference is prefix is added before a value and suffix is added after a value. Now the split column options. So it basically splits your column based on a delimiter. I will show that to you with an example in some time. Now, look at this column homeowner where there are only two entries, Y and N. Y for yes, N for no. Now, I want to convert all these Y's into yes and all the N's into no. So if you're familiar with Microsoft Excel, you know that you can easily do this with the help of Replace option. Now the same feature is available in PowerQuery as well. All you have to do is select the column, go to Transform and go to Replace Values. Select the option Replace Values. So it's asking for value to find, that is what value you want to replace, which is Y, and replace with. Yes, that is the value we want to replace it with. So you can see that all the Y's are now replaced with yes. Now let's do the same for N. Click on Replace Value. Value to find is N. Replace with no and OK. And all the N's are now converted to no. So that is how you make use of Replace Value. Now you can see here that we have three columns for name: prefix, first name and last name. Now what I want to do is I want to merge all these three columns into a single one for the full name. So we have a concatenate function in Excel for that. In PowerQuery, it's way more easier to merge your cells without using the concatenate function or any other formula for that matter. So all I have to do is select my columns and go to this option, Merge Columns. So when I click that, it first asks me for a separator. That is, what separator do you want to add between each column entry. So it can be a colon, comma, equal sign, semicolon, space, tab, or if not, you can select a custom icon. Suppose I want to add an underscore as a separator or a hyphen. I can define it over here. So for now, I'll select space and name the new column. So I'll call the new column as full name and click OK. So you can see that all those three columns are now replaced by just one column, which is full name. Now, if your requirement is to add a new column full name and also maintain the other three columns, that is prefix, first name and last name. So to insert this new column, first let's remove the step and get back to our original data. So you have to go to the Add Column option. With Add Column, as we mentioned earlier, a new column will be inserted into your data set. As you can see here, the Merge Columns option is right now grayed out. Why? Because For the merge column option to be available, you should select more than one column. Because to perform merge, you obviously need more than one column. So let's select these 3 columns and click on merge columns under add column, and as we did earlier, choose a separator. So we'll select space and then name the new column. So we'll name it as full name and click OK. So let's scroll to the right and you can see that the new column has been added to the rightmost end of our table. So note that whenever you add a new column, that column will get added to the end of your table. But you can also easily move that. One way to do that is just right click on the column and select the move option. Now if you select left or right, it will move your column by one column. If I click on this to beginning, it will move your column to the beginning of the table or as the first column of your table. Now the other option to move your column is very simple. Just go to that column, press and hold your left mouse button and drag and drop it to wherever you want your column to be placed. So this way you can easily move your columns. So I hope that you are now clear with the basic difference between this transform and add column options. Now let me go to my products data set. Now if I scroll to the right, you can see a column product description over here. Now suppose I want to break the entries inside this column. You can see that the separator used here is comma in between all the texts. Now if I want to separate it into new columns, then I'll go to add column and then click on extract. Now the delimiter option that it's showing me is text before delimiter, text after delimiter and text between delimiters. Now if I select this text before delimiter, it is asking me to enter the delimiter that marks the end of the text that we would like to extract. So I'll add comma and click OK. Now if you scroll to your right, you can see a new column text before delimiter with the text that appears before the first comma delimiter. Now suppose I want to extract the text till the second delimiter, that is the second comma, not the first comma. How can we do that? So select this column and go to extract and select text before delimiter. Now just specify what your delimiter is. So I'll put comma and then go to the advanced option. Now under the scan for the delimiter, from the start of the input means it should start from the left, and from the end of the input means it should start from the right side. So we'll select from the start of the input and then specify the number of delimiters that you want to skip. So I'll enter 1 so that it skips the first delimiter and click OK. Now let's check what we have got. So scroll to the rightmost. You will see that it has skipped the first delimiter and considered the second one. And so it has extracted 2 values. So let me cancel this step as I do not require it over here. Next we look at the number column calculation.